Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a common problem that many homeowners face when painting their ceilings: stains and streaks. It's frustrating, right? You put in all that effort, and then you're left with an uneven finish. So, let's dive into the reasons why these imperfections happen, and how to avoid them. First, let's talk about why stains and streaks appear in the first place. It's all about the preparation, my friends. If you don't properly prepare your ceiling, you're setting yourself up for trouble. Now, let's get into the top 6 reasons why you might see defects on your ceiling after painting. 1. Not cleaning the ceiling properly before painting. Dirt, dust, cobwebs, and even grease can prevent the paint from adhering properly, leading to uneven coverage and streaks. TWO. Using the wrong type of paint. Some paints are better suited for ceilings than others. For example, flat paints are more prone to showing imperfections, while semi-gloss paints are more durable and easier to clean. 3. Not using a roller with the right nap length. The nap length of your roller will affect the thickness of the paint film. If you use a roller with too long of a nap, you'll get a thick, uneven coat. 4. Not applying enough coats of paint. One coat of paint is rarely enough to cover a ceiling properly. You'll need to apply at least TWO coats, and sometimes even 3, for a smooth, even finish. 5. Not letting the paint dry completely between coats. If you apply a second coat of paint before the first coat is completely dry, you'll end up with streaks and uneven coverage. 6. Not using a paint sprayer properly. Paint sprayers can be a great way to paint a ceiling quickly and efficiently, but they can also lead to streaks and uneven coverage if they are not used properly. Now, let's talk about some common mistakes that beginners make when painting their ceilings. 1. Not using a paint extension pole. Painting a ceiling without an extension pole is a recipe for disaster. You'll end up with paint on your face, your hair, and your clothes. And you'll probably miss some spots. TWO. Not using painter's tape. Painter's tape is essential for protecting your walls and trim from paint splatters. If you don't use painter's tape, you'll have a lot of cleanup to do. 3. Not using a drop cloth. A drop cloth is essential for protecting your floors from paint splatters. If you don't use a drop cloth, you'll have a lot of cleanup to do. 4. Not using a paint tray liner. A paint tray liner is essential for keeping your paint tray clean. If you don't use a paint tray liner, you'll have a lot of cleanup to do. Now, let's talk about what even the most experienced painters can miss. 1. Not checking for cracks or holes in the ceiling. Cracks and holes in the ceiling need to be repaired before you paint. If you don't repair them, they'll show through the paint. TWO. Not sanding the ceiling before painting. Sanding the ceiling before painting will help to create a smooth surface for the paint to adhere to. If you don't sand the ceiling, the paint may not adhere properly, and you'll end up with streaks and uneven coverage. 3. Not using a primer. A primer is essential for creating a smooth, even surface for the paint to adhere to. If you don't use a primer, the paint may not adhere properly, and you'll end up with streaks and uneven coverage. Remember, preparation is key to a successful paint job. By following these tips, you can avoid the common mistakes that beginners make and achieve a beautiful, streak-free ceiling. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a topic that's probably given many of you a headache: painting ceilings. We are going to talk about the common mistakes beginners make when painting their ceilings, and how to avoid those pesky stains and streaks. First, let's talk about eliminating painting problems. The most important thing is preparation. Make sure you have the right tools and materials. You'll need a good quality paint, a roller with a long extension pole, painter's tape, a drop cloth, and a paint tray. And don't forget to wear protective clothing. Now, let's talk about removing localized problems. If you have any stains or imperfections on your ceiling, you'll need to address them before you start painting. For stains, use a stain-blocking primer. For imperfections, use a patching compound and let it dry completely before painting. Next, let's talk about removing traces of the flood. If you've had a leak in your ceiling, you'll need to make sure it's completely dry before you start painting. You can use a dehumidifier to help speed up the drying process. Finally, let's talk about how to paint without streaks. The key is to use long, even strokes. Start in the center of the ceiling and work your way out to the edges. Don't go back over the same area twice, and make sure you're using enough paint. And that's it. By following these tips, you can avoid the common mistakes that beginners make when painting their ceilings. Remember, preparation is key, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.